Let's see what pieces we get. Okay, we've got the white pieces. We'll play the London system setup, which starts off with pawn to d4. The dark square bishop gets developed first, which is generally the weaker piece for white, and then playing e3, closing the diagonal of the bishop after placing out the bishop. And now we can develop the knight on f3. Okay, we can simply, I think, play uh, pawn to c3 here. Okay, he's trying to close the diagonal, so we'll just try to break it open directly by playing b3. And whenever opponent follows up with b5, then make sure to play a4. That's a tactical move, trying to weaken us b5 pawn there. He tries to defend with the bishop. Now we can takes, we take back. So we have got rid of the pawn chain that was there in the center, and now we feel a bit more controlled. And now we can probably play a knight as well on b2, d2, and now we are attacking the c4 pawn with couple of pieces. He has got one defender. Okay, he's trying to take on the pawn there maybe, or the bishop and spoil our pawn structure. So both things can happen. Here I think I should first take on or defend my bishop here. Losing out on bishop can be bad. Or I should take on the pawn. Let's evaluate once. If I take with the bishop, he probably takes back, and then I can take with the knight. That sounds good enough. Let's see. Because now he cannot take on the bishop first. So, yep, we can take on the bishop. Let's see if he goes for the pawn now or the bishop. We can give a check next move. And that looks a bit deadly. Okay, he doesn't do anything and just tries to attack the knight over there, and we can save with a check first. Gets a knight in between. Shall we castle? Let's exchange the bishops if he wants to. If he wants to, then it comes with a nasty check next move. So probably he won't. Okay, he takes on the pawn. Now the problem in front is we will just try to attack the knight as well. So let's see what he does here. Takes back the knight. We can take on the bishop. Has to take with the king now, otherwise it's a problem. Yep, takes with the king. So material wise, everything is fine. Let's castle. That's the safest option right now. And now we can attack the knight. Once the knight moves from here, we can give a attack the queen as well. He doesn't move the knight there. That gives us an opportunity to hop in to e5. We are going here otherwise. Okay, captures. Let's take the knight only, so that again we're threatening to give a check. That again comes with a fork of the king and the rook, which he saves. What do we have got? What have we got here? Let's kick the knight away. Knight goes back. Let's get the rook active. We'll align the rooks now. Yep, we'll try to take on the a7 there. Oh, that's a nice fork, but I don't think it will help because we can pin the knight by moving the queen now. That saves the queen as well. The king is in the diagonal, so yep, pinning a piece there. Always nice. I think we're in good control of the game. We will take on the pawn in the next move now for sure. That's only defended once. You can max defend it twice, and we have three attackers now. So that's nice. If he moves the queen, no, we can't take on the pawn because it's defended with the rook there. But yeah, good position to be in. Okay, I think we can. Oh, he resigns because he hung his queen, so he resigns. Could have asked for a take back. I would have given that, but not a draw for sure. So yeah, a good game, and even if he doesn't do a blunder there, he's pretty much losing. Let's analyze the game quickly once and see. Just before the move as well, yep, white is 6.7, it's 7.1, it's completely winning. So yeah, let's start off with the game analysis once. D4, D5. London system is always nice. Bishop to F4. Knight comes out on F6. We play E3. Opponent responds with E6. We play knight to F3. Follows it up with C5. And we just try to build a pyramid in the center, which is very nice in the London system. And it's pretty solid. So we finish our pyramid, and then the opponent plays pawn to c4, making sure his pawn structure is a bit solid there. The pawn chain is big enough, but there's a way to break it, and that's what we do. Play b3. Here the opponent doesn't capture, but plays b5, which is bad. And as I said, whenever your opponent plays b5, trying to protect the c4 pawn, always go for a4 next. And here the opponent had the best move of getting the queen on a5. In that case, we would have let the structure as it is and just continue with the normal development. And after a few moves, we get a good solid position. Of course, uh, taking on here would be a bad mistake because we get to break the pawn chain, and there's no other pawn that queen can capture here. So queen is kind of stuck in an inactive position and can't do much over there. Can take another pawn, and if he takes back, again the pawn is attacked twice and guarded only once, so we are pretty good. We can just castle and proceed from here. So that can be one line from there, but the opponent doesn't bring the queen here but plays bishop to d7. Here I take on the pawn, he takes back. Now I took the other pawn as well, takes back. So now the pawn chain is completely destroyed. So we are good with the center space. And now we play knight to d2. Again, two defenders were there, so yep, right choice to take on with the bishop. Opponent takes back. We take back with the knight, and yep, opponent tries to attack the knight here, and we try to defend the knight as well as attack the king with one move, which is queen to a4 here. The opponent defends with the knight. Oh, I could have got the other knight into the attack, but I tried to just exchange the bishops there. Opponent takes on the pawn, and we attack the knight now by keeping the queen on b3. Knight goes back, we take on the bishop. He has to take with the king, of course, because if he takes with the rook, things can go wrong pretty soon after the knight is kicked away from here, which we can sack a knight as well. And once he takes the knight, we're coming with a fork. And if he doesn't take the knight and say, suppose, move the queen somewhere, then we get the knight. So it's a win-win situation. So opponent has to take with the king there, does right there, and then we just castle to safety first. He plays h5. I would say a very passive move in the situation of the game, and we just play queen over to d3, attacking the knight, which he defends with the pawn on f5. And now we hop in with the knights, trying to go for the fork via g6. Opponent takes on the knight, we take back, and the opponent's king is pretty much in the center, I would say. The pawn structure is pretty weak, and there's no way that black can probably win it from here. It's very tough unless white makes a mistake. Now, black plays here rook to h6 there, trying to make sure that the knight is not coming on g6 and doing a fork. I just played f3 there, trying to kick the knight away. Knight goes back on f6, and now I try to align my rooks on the a file. Yep, I could have got the rook on c1 as well, attacking the queen, and after the queen moves, we can just go ahead with all our pieces. That was the whole plan, but I did the other way around. I went with rook to a6 first. He plays knight to d5, and I played the other rook now, aligning the rooks and trying to take on the a7, which is weak. Here, the opponent plays a bad move, which was knight to b4, because that pins the knight after a check, like after queen to a3. Now, the knight is pinned over here, and the only way to defend it would be to move the queen. That defends the pawn as well. Here again, I think we are okay going for the exchange as well. That doesn't impact much, or we can, yeah, this move is even better with computer suggesting that place your rook on the knight there and attack it twice, and if it saves with the pawn there, you can still take it on after it takes. Things will be exchanged, and if you see, white is completely winning with an extra piece. So a piece advantage, and there is no pawn threat as well. This can be easily captured. The b4 pawn is pretty weak, no supporting pawns. The rook is also kind of trapped between the pawns, cannot have a free path because knight is standing there as well. And this would be very easily finished from there. But rather, opponent tried to defend it by moving queen and give away a queen directly. So that was even worse. But anyways, it was an end which couldn't have been delayed much. But luckily for him, it came pretty early, and yep, we closed the game at after he plays the queen, he resigns. So yeah, good game. Things to be learned. London system is nice, obviously, and play the move a4 whenever the pawn chain, the opponent is trying to resume onto the pawn chain and plays aggressive moves like b5. So that can definitely be a weakening, and you can try to exploit it. Thanks for watching, and thanks for your time. Do let me know your feedback. Keep watching and sharing. Do subscribe to the channel. I'm putting it a lot of hard work to make these videos daily without a miss, and I'll continue doing that. Some likes and comments will be a good motivation factor. Thank you so much again. Take care. Bye bye.